what's your show about?
So the trials and triumphs that we all have with struggles of events, patterns in our life has caused a lot by man to become very egoic and judgmental. And so 369 Light Theory or Mind Power Portal series tells us that we are all one of all, that I am, which is we are all the Christ light, and that we can overcome any struggle that we have as long as we can face ourselves and get rid of our ego. So, and that is just a belief in switch that we have to train our mind away from old beliefs and old patterns that we have been thrown in over the years. And that is through ancestral lines or, your community, your peers, your governments, your world leaders. It is patterns. So that's what pretty much is helping flip the minds of PTSD. I am a Reiki master therapist, and I'm a spiritual counselor for a lot of PTSDs down here in the Miami area. And I have a little cave, a salt cave, that we actually do treatments in to help do group settings for flipping of those beliefs. So I figured I would come on and take my journey and intertwine it with the soldiers' journeys, the same journeys, but maybe, like right now, I went in 1986. So a lot has changed, but the correlation of the PTSD or the mind centers, they're not going to change, right? It's just going to be a little bit, further in time, but it's the same emotional centers that destroy. So that's where it's at. I take you through, that's why I told you the finances, through my disabilities.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I can't wait to dig into that some and learn some more about your background, your military history. And, just to kind of open up the floor to discussion, but, I guess, Charmaine, I don't know much about your military history. Can you give us a brief backstory of your experience in the military?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I joined in April of 2018. So I'm fairly new. I was actually, I got out back in 2023. So I did about 5 years or so, and I got out due to PTSD.
Okay.
So I was in the Navy, and I was a corpsman, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. And then MJ, your a little brief history of your military background.
Sure. I was an air traffic controller through strategical and tactical missions, TSC mobility of the 2069 Com Specialty Group.
Okay. So we got a little bit of
the long of the short, I was used as a test dummy, and it caused me to be wheelchair bound and have MS-like symptoms. So I come in and out of a wheelchair, and I also am auto and neuroimmune. No, I fixed it. It is, and not by the VA. It's like I tell the story to try. That's why I said I get you. Like I'm going, I got you. So I've been there, and I've twisted it, and I am on a beautiful journey to show people that there has been very frustrating times, but you can flip it. You can flip it and make it the most positive living experience, and at any tragedy, then smile and say, I honor you and I love you.
I love that.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. That's great. All right. Well, with that, let's kind of open the floor a little bit to some of your financial. Maybe we'll start with your wins. How about that? We'll start with what is one thing that a financial thing that was a success for you while you were in the military. Go with Charmaine first.
Let's see. One financial success. I will say this, and I hope it doesn't come off the wrong way. So when I did join, I joined as enlisted, right? And I did not have a degree. And so I came in as an E3. By the time I got out, which wasn't really a lot of time, there were a lot of different things that happened between that time. I came out as an E4. However, so with that type of pay, and I have 3 dependents, a husband and 2 children. And I will say God really blessed us because we did not have any financial problems whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, I'm not cheap, right? But we did watch our money, and we had plenty to play with because of that. So yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, so would you attribute any of that success to your time in the military per se, or is it just something that you already were good at?
I think I just was already good at it. I consider myself to have a really odd relationship with money. Growing up, we weren't poor, but we weren't rich. So I would consider us being middle class. My mother, she went in and out of owning different businesses. She has an entrepreneur spirit, as do I. And so some days were hard and some days weren't. We went through these different seasons of, not having the lights on or not having the water on and things like that. And we always had what we needed, but there were definitely things that I wanted that we could not afford, or she just decided not, to apply our finances to that. And so I think my relationship with money came from, I never want to be without. So I always made sure that I had something in the bank to kind of cover us. I always had a little security blanket. And that actually came from fear, not from just being prepared. It came from fear of not being prepared. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. So I guess we're probably coming up on a commercial break time, but so just out of curiosity, now that you were active duty and then now you're not, is there was the transition for you difficult when it comes to that steady paycheck, having your medical bills taken care of and then having to go back to the civilian world? Was that a tough transition for you?
It wasn't a tough transition because I joined the military really late. And so I had already lived life. I've already been out there as a civilian. So transitioning back wasn't too much of a difficult feat for me. But as like financially, I'm still good. Like I was already making plans as to what was going to go down when I did get out. And I definitely encouraged a lot of my, my fellow sailors to do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were an advocate even while you were in the service, right?
Absolutely. Any type of way that I could help, I'm always, I love research and I love giving information. And sometimes it can bite me in the butt because, I end up taking on something and then kind of making it my own. And I'm like, whoa, like slow down. This is not you, this is them. And so I kind of have to get myself together. But yeah, I love giving information. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna have to, I guess, just have you add you to the team, because I need people that like to research and give information and that's a great skill to have. So I'll definitely be hitting you up for some.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So so MJ, based off of the original question, do you have anything to add?
I do. You want me now or after break?
Yeah, I guess we'll jump into a break and then you can jump in after that. So let me see if I can try to do what ad should I put? I don't know. I guess I can just do whatever I want, huh?
Any, mini, money, mo.
I guess yeah, we'll pick this one. All right. We'll be back after this quick break.
in my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, hides the face, lies a snake, and the sun in my disgrace, boiling heat, summer stench, neath the black sky looks dead. Call my name through the cream, and I'll hear you scream again. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Stood a rain, cold and damp, still the warm with tired friend. Times are gone for honest men, sometimes far too long for snakes. In my shoes, walking sleep, in my youth I pray to keep heaven sent, hell away. No one sings like you anymore. Black hole star, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole star, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole star, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole star, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you hang my head, drown my fear, till you all just disappear. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away the rain.
opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. That was a little bit of a longer song than I anticipated, but that's okay. It's a good song, good cover. I see H-Train laughing in the background. But yeah, so I just randomly picked that video, so I apologize if it was a long one, but that's all good. So we're back with Money in the Military on MBR Radio, giving veterans a voice. So before the break, we were talking with MJ, and we were talking about, some of the financial lessons maybe you learned while you were in the service. So would you like to jump in on that?
I would love to. So this is when I fell in love with you, Joey, because I was on a round circle and we had this major discussion about the government didn't prepare them when they left, and it's a job, their monies. And it came to reality that I felt like, here you go, life lesson. I felt that the military was there as a job. When you take a job, they don't teach you about your finances, right?
Right.
When I grew up in the 70s, right, we had to take home ec. We had to take, all the skills that you needed should you had not gone to college or gone to get a skill in life, right?
Yeah.
Cook your food, wash your clothes, build a little tic-tac-toe board. But anyway, it's wood and I build it,
Yeah.
And then we had to take economic class, which was we had to always write checks. We got a list of bills. We had to play the stock market. Yeah. This was like an amazing thing. I had no idea the school systems took that out. Even my kids got that. Yeah. And I couldn't, it baffled me. It baffled me that was not there. Now, my kids did do Montessori. They didn't do public school. Maybe that was the difference. I mean, we even had a crying damn baby in our house that, they had to do as a requirement for everybody to have so that they wouldn't, they'd be cautious and prepare them, Yeah. So for me, I go, oh my God, I remember going, I got to agree to disagree here because I'm not sure, because my thing was I'm going into college and I'm getting a degree and guaranteed, and I'm also going in the military, which is a job. And I couldn't put those two together. Again, old pattern, old beliefs. Look at how it evolved and changed, right?
Right.
So I had to clear that. And I was like, wow, holy smokus. So if they are, and I now hear they're drafting now, they're going to put draft back up 18 to something. And did you hear that?
I didn't hear that.
Cray. Yep. They're formulating the draft again. So I was never a believer that people at that age should be allowed. I think that they should be allowed at 20 or later, because I don't think the frontal lobe is there. So as far as the money, here you go. I got stationed in Las Vegas.
Nice. I was at the Creech Air Force Base, or Indian Springs back then. But I was at Nellis for a while too.
Yep. I was at Nellis Air Force Base, and my job, I would get in an airplane and go to my job every day and come back to Nellis. And let me tell you something. I thought I was so rich because everything was paid for, right? I mean, 19 years old, 20 years old, everything's paid for. And there I am controlling, doing my job, and I have all this money. They didn't teach you in school not to gamble. Right?
So, I missed that lesson in school, but
So here's the big lesson in life, right? I got at the Golden Nugget. I'm doing well as an airman, right? And at that point, I was just a little airman. I wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm making whopping $440 something, and I am loving life. I could go spend it on whatever I wanted. Yes. Yep, I did. And I got up I was like, every time I went, I swore all I was going to do is bring $50 in my pocket. Once the $50 was over, it was over. That was good money management, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That takes self-discipline that most people don't have when it comes to gambling.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
So there's a life lesson. I learned that to control that. But what I didn't learn to control was greed, because I would take that 50 and I was up $4,000.
Wow.
Yes, I know. And I had to go to the bathroom after 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I went to go get up and they made me chip out, right? So
Yeah.
here I am chipping out my coins and signing whatever and to hold the money, went to the bathroom, came back, put the money back in, and then I ended up losing all the way down to like $1,000.
Wow.
So I know. That's come on, no judgment.
Right, exactly. No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just thinking if that was me, I would have just oh man, been devastated. But
taking it and run, right?
yeah. Well, no, I'm thinking I would have done the same thing too. I probably would have kept going, because I'm just like kind of a let it ride personality sometimes. I'm not a really great gambler, just to be honest, but yeah, so I would have done the same thing probably. I would have been like, man, I made 4K. I wonder how much I can turn that into.
It was my dream out there living.
Yeah, yeah.
Living the life, because I go to work and it's 24 hours and nothing ever shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I lost it. And I couldn't believe it. But I cashed back out, right? My money, signed the receipt like you're supposed to do. And I did it. Well, nobody ever told me. Again, nobody ever told me in school when I learned finances. Here you go, whoever we were in that discussion with about, I can't believe it. How come they didn't teach me this? That when you sign those little pieces of paper, you got to pay tax on that.
Yeah. Yep.
So 5 years later, life lesson in the military at Las Vegas as a child, right? I get this penalty from the IRS that I didn't pay taxes on my winnings.
Wow.
All of those winnings that I did in Vegas, I ended up at the end, and that time frame was like $21,000.
Okay.
And I had to pay tax on that. Who would have thunk I had to pay tax on all those receipts?
Oh man. And it took him 5 years to finally realize what was going on, huh? Yeah.
All those receipts, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's my big money inside of.
Yeah. Oh man.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially being in Nellis and being exposed, there was a little bit of a problem with some airmen gambling their money away, and then they would go to the Airman Family Readiness Center and have to go to their first sergeant or basically take out like an Eagle Cash loan or something, so they could basically make rent, because they gambled too much. So that's definitely a thing for some military members, and I know some that were really successful at gambling. So it's the full spectrum. But once again, it comes down to managing your finances, like in a responsible way. Like if you have fun money for gambling, that is perfectly okay. But if you're pulling into pulling out the ATM machine and trying to basically chip into your rent, then that's definitely where you have a problem.
For
so.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was responsible. Come on, I did the $50. That's it.
There you go.
That's good.
You did stick to that, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so
especially at that age.
Yeah, for sure. That takes some wisdom there. So let's talk a little bit about the transition from active to veteran, basically. Basically, where we're all at now. Were there any financial lessons that you learned along the way of your transition? Like you went from, steady paycheck, healthcare, all these fringe benefits to being a civilian, and, how was that transition for you financially? And I know, Tremaine, you kind of already said that your transition wasn't that difficult, but like for future, like if you were to tell your future or your past self, as you're getting out of the military, what are some of the things that you would tell your past self with what you know now?
A few things I would kind of tell my past self. there was a point in time where I got pretty confused about what I wanted to do when I got out, because at first it was one thing, and then it turned into another thing, and then it turned into another thing. So I didn't really know what that looked like.
Right.
And so I think for me, what I would tell my past self is to prepare, not necessarily financially, but in all other areas.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I'm so not good with schedules. I overbook, and I, just overlapping and different things like that. So that's probably something that I would tell myself, is just to be more consistent, be more aware. I might have a little ADHD, I don't know, but so I would tell my old self that. And also I would also tell my old self is to, I think there was more people that I could have helped. So I wish that I was in I guess in the emotional state and physical state and capability to do that. Because I think there was a lot more people that may have needed some structure, because a lot of people are everywhere. And these are not just sailors that are, E1s, E2s, E3s. And these are people that are like chiefs and even master chiefs. Yeah. They, if you don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually reminds me of when I was in E4, I think I had an E6 like supervisor, shift supervisor. He knew I was like into finance. I was always talking about money, even at that point in my career. And he was one of those kind of blustery types. He was really outgoing, but he actually came to me one time and kind of like, he actually got me outside of the cubicle area and wanted to ask me for financial advice. And I was like, that was a pretty big thing, like for him to actually, I guess suck it up and just ask for help. But he actually did. And I'm glad he did. So it was just, one of those things where, you can help somebody, but they have to also be willing to be helped too.
There you go.
That's true.
We need to go on break, you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Why don't you pick, Joel? Or do I pick? Okay.
Awesome. Once again, you guys are listening to a station that's giving veterans a voice. You're listening to MBR, Money in the Military.
Stats tell that each day, 22 veterans commit suicide due to PTSD. These stats shook us and urged us to do our part. After hours and hours of thinking, Beekeeping for Veterans was born. Beekeeping for Veterans combines beekeeping with mindfulness meditation. Why combine them? Here's why. Beekeeping causes positive rush of adrenaline while beekeeping. You have to be calm during it. You are mindful of your movements. Each week, a veteran will receive a mindful meditation to build emotional and mental skill sets. Mindfulness is a set of 3 attentional skills that work together: concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity, mental calmness, composure, evenness of temper. Every time mindfulness is practiced, we build these skills. Beekeeping for Veterans not only helps veterans overcome emotional trauma, but also aids our environment, as without bees, there is no food. Come forward. The people who have supported your country now need your support.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And we're back. Welcome back to MB Radio, giving veterans a voice. My name is Joey. I have Charmaine and I have MJ, and we're talking about money in the military, kind of reminiscing, telling some stories, some lessons learned along the way, and, just kind of sharing a little bit about, our financial journeys while in the military and now as veterans. So All right, so where we left off, I think it was MJ's turn to talk a little bit about maybe some financial lessons that you've learned as a veteran, and what would you tell yourself, your active duty self, before you got out?
So I got out injured. I was kind of paralyzed from my chest down. So I was honorably discharged, but because of the illness that I had, the military was only going to release me at 10%. Okay. So if anybody's a disabled vet out there, you understand this.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going to, because I was still allowed on the base. So, and I don't know how it works today, but I was allowed on the base to do the medical facilities. I was allowed on the base, my girl, everything, right? I still had my card, but I would only get a 10% pay. So I didn't realize until 2 years after the fact that I was out, not like truly I was in and out of these wheelchairs. And these 2 years really sucked because at that point, where is that help? Where is that help, period? Right?
Yeah.
Where is that help for that vet? And it ended up where I went to the Miami VA. Horrible. I mean, it was the worst of the worst VAs I ever saw. There was rats in the hallways.
Wow.
And it sucked. And I'm literally, this is now, like I said, 1989, 1990.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked. And I vowed I would never go back in there. And I went in there because I had come out of a remissional state and I had to use it. It was bad. And I didn't know where to get the money for gas to get there.
Wow.
Sucks. And so when I see like these people who are injured and trying to get through the system, it really stinks because I was there. 38 years ago, I was there. And it bites, and it really bites hard because you're not capable of holding a steady job, but you're not yet ready to get a new, for me, I was no longer allowed air traffic control, which was my whole degree. Yeah. So I had to go back to school to do something. But there's a transition time, and it's that transition time that really stinks. And you need to be financially prepared, or the government does need to do something in that transition more than a 10%. And then I went to 40, and it took years to fight auto and neuroimmunity. And then they finally at 20 year gave me the Air Force Achievement Medal, the Air Force Humanitarian Medal, the Air Force Honorary Medal.
Wow.
In the mail 20 years later.
20 years later.
And my whole life was either I lived like a king because I was in good condition to work. Mm-hmm. And I went back to school to be a business developer. So I was building these lodges in 2 to 3 year shifts, and then I'd build another. And these places, I would live like a king. And the minute I would get back in a wheelchair, I lost my job. So I went from $250,000 to nothing because I would lose the contract.
Wow.
And my whole life was that roller coaster. My whole life until I decided to work for myself. That way my brain worked, the physical body didn't work. So I was not able, so I worked out of my own home. But these are the things that is really difficult with money. How do you get through those struggles? Because there are some of those struggles that are completely bottomed out where I had to file a bankruptcy. There was no way out. My body wasn't coming back out, to go back into a remissional state, which meant I wasn't working.
Right.
So.
Well, and there's probably a lot of veterans that are.
I mean, it would have been great if we had the Zooms and all these things like you have today, but you didn't have those in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I imagine there's a lot of veterans that resonate with your story, especially ones that are struggling right now. What advice or hope would you give them for anyone who's going through what you're going through right now?
Go immediately with your transition papers to the VA. Go immediately. They don't tell you all of these things. They don't it was a needle in a haystack. I don't know how, again, today today. I don't know what they do, but if you have a disability that you can't walk, or that you are severely where you are a person who's not going to be able to work, you need to go immediately to the VM and get your TMP or get your comp, because it's the only way, and they'll give you the stipend. And don't stay on the military. Back out and go straight VA, because the military is not going to pay. It's not going to be there for you. And that's where I stayed to get my treatments on the base here in Homestead, instead of just going VA. But like I said, I didn't, because the VA was horrible. But I didn't know that I wasn't able to get my transitional percentages.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
That's the only advice.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I know it's I've listened to some of your other streams, and it sounds like, yeah, you really have been through a lot. But you're also, you're transitioning to positivity, and I really appreciate that about you, and the message that you try to bring to the veteran community and the military community is positivity, and that's something that really resonates with me. And I just appreciate your voice and your vigor. You're just, oh man, I could bottle you up and take you with me everywhere I go.
Please do. I love to travel.
Oh man.
No, I've climbed adversity. I truly, I've been tested, and like I said, I am that light of Christ, and I follow 369 light code, and I believe in flipping everything to a positive thing, no matter what it is, death included. It has to be flipped into an understanding of balance or positive. Understanding means where both sides are neutral. And that's what's wrong with the world. I said it in my other ones. Yeah. But again, I came to you, Joey, because I want to know, how do we do this? You're the money guy. How do we balance that?
Well, I guess that's my life mission right now, is to try to change the narrative, try to educate people, and really get people talking about their finances in a holistic, healthy way. Because one thing I've noticed too is, between the military and the civilian world, there's just a lot of frustration about money. There's a lot of misinformation. There's just a lot going on that people are just really confused by, and kind of there's a lot of negativity. So my whole mantra has been financial positivity. And that's something that I'm trying to just, like you, just project that out into the world. And, we'll see if people respond to it. So far, people have, but it's going to take some time to change the narrative, and to, have platforms like this to really talk about actual money issues. Because, once again, we're just not talking about this kind of stuff. I see it in my work. I see it in my family, friends. Everyone is just quietly, hiding their financial journey, when a lot of times people would benefit from sharing. Not everything, obviously, because it is personal. I'm not saying that you would have to tell your whole financial story, but I've been trying to be really transparent with my story, to kind of highlight that I have made plenty of financial mistakes, and yet I'm still pushing forward, and I'm still trying to learn. I'm still growing. And, that's just part of my manifesto, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I just really appreciate.
Can I help you with that? Can I interrupt and help you with that? A flip pattern for therapy, to flip that mind power. So when we think that we don't have money, right? Then we have to flip that pattern to say that we have an abundance. We have an abundance of everything, because when we have an abundance of everything, it's the law of attraction. And if people can't talk about their journey because they fear ego and judgment, then there's still healing that needs to be done within us. Because if somebody would be to judge me, I would laugh. We have to stop that. There's that pattern, Joey. Stop that pattern, and I'm glad you're doing it. You tell people money is money. And if somebody says that they never had money issues in their life, they're flat out just crapola, right?
Right.
Because we all go through it. Unless you're born with a golden spoon, and even most of them commit suicide or commit because they're not happy, right? So look at it. They're not happy with money, and you're not happy not having money. So how about just being happy?
Yeah, I think that MJ touched on something really critical. Just, speaking things as though what you want them to be, not exactly what they are. And just, knowing that, like you said, Joey, transparency. I really, really appreciate people that are transparent. Yes, some things you keep to yourself, right? Everybody doesn't need to know every single cell in your body. Right. But transparency, I really believe, is what will push forward community and mend communities and bring communities together, whatever community it is. And because then you're able to show vulnerability. And once you show that, another person can see, oh, well, I'm not the only person going through this. Or, you sharing your story or what your testimony, whatever it is, they're able to connect with you. It makes you more relatable as well. And so, letting people know, hey, this is what happened with me. May I give you some advice on that? So I think that, speaking life into your life will help you turn around your mindset. That's the first thing you have to do, is change your mindset. And jump into the pool before something happens. You need to know these things before it happens, because when it does happen, then you're scrambling. So even though you may not have any money problems now, what is something that you don't know that you may need to know in the future? Do you want to know about stocks? Do you want to know about IRAs? Do you want to know about, the money market? Like, what is it that you want to know about? You should always be preparing yourself to grow. And I think it's important that you definitely have this podcast to just kind of let people know, hey, we all have financial struggles. But, we can all join together and figure this out.
I like it. You just landed the plane right there. I appreciate that. We're actually going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back, and we'll finish the discussion out.
Hey, and I just want to let you guys know this next music break that we're going to do. The Marine rapper. He is a veteran, and I just wanted to key that out.
Nice.
Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go. Let's go. Hey. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Hey, you know what they saying, ho? Hey, you know what they saying, though? Hey, you know what they, you know what they, hey. And I say it with a passion as I pull off in the Aston. Don't nobody like his ass, huh? Tried to cover up and tell the people, go Brandon. But we know what they saying, though. You can hear the chant in every post. Don't nobody want this commie cause we not in China. Everybody hated Trump and now they out to catch a body. That's what they get for treating us like we in Squid Games. Green light, mandate, like he's insane. These times people waking up to everything. Go Brandon, but we all know what the saying mean. Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. You know what they saying, ho? Let's go Brandon. Let's go Brandon. Hey, you know what they saying, ho? Hey, you know what they saying, though? Hey, you know what they, you know what they, hey.
opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And we are back. Welcome to Money in the Military. I'm Joey, aka the Fire Social Worker, and I have MJ and I have Charmaine with me. And we've just been talking about money and different topics. It's been really interesting so far, and I just really appreciate my guests for coming on and jumping in the stream with me. So while we kind of finish out the show, let's talk about maybe some positive financial goals that you have in the near future. What are something that that you hope to achieve financially, maybe within the next year or so? How about you, Charmaine?
I would say within the next year. So, like I mentioned, when I got out of the military, I had already been trying to transition for that last year that I was in. And so I couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to do. But I always had something in the back of my mind. And so when I got out, I started researching different franchises. And so the franchise that I have now is called Always Faithful Dog Training. And so I do dog training. And so my goal is to basically make it as big as I can and be able to hire and just really scale the business up.
Okay. I'm going to challenge you a little bit and get you to maybe make a more concrete, like the SMART goal, but what is something that you like, one concrete thing that you want to achieve within the year?
One concrete thing that I want to achieve within the year.
Like you said, expand, but like, what does that look like? Like what milestone are you trying to achieve in that next window of time?
So without going into like financials as far as how much I would like to have, how much I would like to make, I want to, I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida, and Jacksonville is huge, and I own the entire territory. So what I'd like to do is I would like to have at least 2 people on each side of town. That's how busy I'd like to be. 2 people on each side of town, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Starting your empire, one part of the city at a time. That's awesome. Well, do you have like a website or how are you advertising that?
So yes, I do have a website. It's alwaysfaithfuldogs.com/Jacksonville. It'll go directly to my webpage. It goes over all of the lessons and the packages that we offer in our training method, which is no shock collars, no treats, no gimmicks, all leadership-based style.
Awesome. Yeah. That's cool. I really want to feature that in the episode. I'm going to put that in the show notes so that way people can, come find you. And so that's pretty cool. Really proud of that journey, and I'm really excited to check in with you in a year and see how you did.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
She'll do good. She's determined.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. All right, MJ, real quick, we'll finish us out. What is your financial goal for the next year?
It is so easy. Financial freedom. I cannot wait to sell everything here and move up north to the house we're looking at and know that all the bills are paid and we can just live on top of the mountain and we can do podcasts, and Joel's going to get it so much sponsorship and so many grants that all of his DJs that he works so hard for will get paid.
Yes.
That is
That's the
and Joel's like, what'd she say?
Yeah. No, Joel's on board. Like, that's part of the H-Train movement right there. We're expanding, we're growing, and I mean, just being part of this community. I hope that we all grow together. And we're already, like, I've only been doing this for a couple of that. I mean, I guess the show launched a couple of weeks ago, but like, I feel like I've been doing this journey with you guys for like the last couple of months, just like behind the scenes, like asking all these questions in the group chat and like learning from Joel and jump in on a stream. And it's just, oh man, it's just such a dynamic environment. And I'm I'm just a kid in a candy store right now, just interacting with you all and learning from everybody. And honestly, like the different things that the MBR platform is highlighting is like genuinely useful information that I feel like more people need to see. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was thinking that we could turn MBR into a network, a whole network where we have all kinds of shows, which we're already doing technically, but I just like the idea of us really, expanding and getting the voices of the veterans out there. So I think
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's my
Well,
pleasure. Thank you, Joey. Thank you,
Yeah.
Charmaine, for meeting you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Joy, you are such a natural. I'm
Oh,
learning a lot
gosh.
from you already through this live stream here. So you're
Well, I have
teaching
been
me a
going
lot.
down the rabbit hole a lot lately with just professional and personal growth and just learning everything I can. So I'm just trying to project all that out there into the world. So thank you
paying
for saying
off.
that. I appreciate it. And if anyone does have financial problems, especially in the military community, I encourage you to send me a message. I will. If I can't fix your problem directly, I will find somebody that can. So that's my charge to you all, is to reach out. If you don't reach out to me, reach out to somebody. It's my public service announcement, is to, if you're dealing with financial struggles, tell one person, okay? At least one person. And that's my soapbox. But thank you for everyone joining and watching either live or after the fact. I appreciate everyone. And Joel, take us out.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to